Jonathan Regev joining me live in studio on all of this. Good morning to you. Let's first discuss the security situation in Jerusalem. Raids happening almost every night. You and I speak about this quite frequently. So talk to us about the current security situation and what the police force in Jerusalem and around the country plans to do ahead of the Jewish holidays.
Clearly a concern for the Jerusalem police. The coming holidays coming together begins with the Jewish New Year, then Yom Kippur, and then the holiday of Sukkot, which brings tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to Jerusalem for the priestly blessing. Therefore, a lot of attention in Jerusalem, especially the old city. The last time there was such a congestion of holidays was around Passover, and back then a lot of incidents in and around the area of the Temple Mount. Therefore, the Jerusalem police is preparing for a similar scenario this time. It's true that this time the holidays do not coincide with Ramadan, as happened in Passover, but still a lot of people in Jerusalem, especially around the old city, around the Temple Mount, around the Western Wall, it always brings a lot of tension in a time which is already tense. Therefore, the Jerusalem police is ready for whatever might happen.
And let's talk about now the Israeli Prime Minister looking to meet with Jordan's king. Talk to our viewers about what Jordan's role in Jerusalem is, for those who are unfamiliar.
At least officially, Jordan is the custodian of the holy sites in Jerusalem. This is a designation that Jordan has been given following the peace agreements with Israel back in the 90s. Therefore, Jordan has a special meaning, a special role when it comes to the Temple Mount. It assigns also security personnel on its behalf, on Jordan's behalf, on the Temple Mount. And Israel wants to make sure that those Jordanian security agents, let's call them this way, security personnel, will assist and will help in bringing tensions down in the Temple Mount. We know that Jews ascend to the Temple Mount practically every day, but the numbers rise in holidays such as Sukkot, such as Passover, as we saw in the spring. There are very special instructions as to how these people ascend, where exactly they walk on the Temple Mount, and Israel wants to make sure that Jordan will assist in keeping tensions down. Jordan has a certain role, but it doesn't have, let's say, total control on the people ascending to the mountain. Yes, it can help alleviate tensions to a certain degree, but at the end, we know that the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, they constantly incite people, and the Temple Mount is always a useful tool for them.
We do know that clashes happen quite frequently around the Aqsa Haram Sharif, the Temple Mount, especially during periods of religious holidays. But let's talk now about Israelis traveling abroad. New security warnings from the National Security Headquarters here in Israel ahead of these holidays. Talk to us about what these warnings are and what they are telling citizens traveling abroad.
Yes, holidays, and especially school holidays, they bring a rather big wave of Israelis traveling abroad. And basically those warnings are telling Israelis that there are places that are a bit more dangerous than others, especially in Africa and Asia. North Africa in particular, we know that a lot of Israelis are now traveling to Sharm el-Sheikh, for example. They're not told not to do it, and all these warnings, there's no jurisdiction to tell Israelis you cannot go there, but clearly telling Israelis, especially when traveling around the Middle East, be it Egypt, be it Jordan, be it also Turkey, be careful. We know that in Turkey, Iranian attempts to carry out attacks against Israelis were foiled in June and in July. All those warnings come to tell Israelis, be careful when traveling, especially in our region.
So what kind of efforts is the Israeli government, along with the National Security Headquarters, making with other governments around the world? We do know that they worked very closely with Turkey in thwarting a lot of attempts on Israeli citizens, but what other countries are they perhaps working with to help keep people safe?
Well, we spoke of Sinai, for example. The Egyptians have a very clear interest for this flow of Israeli tourists to continue. Therefore, the Egyptian security authorities are working closely on this issue with the Israeli security authorities, want to make sure that Sinai remains a safe place for Israeli tourists and other. Let's remember there were incidents against other tourists in Sinai from Al-Qaeda affiliated organizations operating there. So there is cooperation on this issue between Israeli and Egyptian authorities. We spoke of King Abdullah a few minutes ago. Also, when it comes to Jordan, Jordanian authorities want to make sure that Israeli tourists and other tourists coming to the kingdom remain safe. And we saw the very close cooperation that Israeli authorities had with the Turkish one in the successful thwarting of Iranian attempts to hurt Israelis in Turkey. A lot of cooperation between Israel on this issue with Turkey, with Egypt, with the Emirates, with Jordan, but we know that there are elements such as Iran and others trying to harm Israelis wherever they are.
I-24 News Defense Correspondent Jonathan Regev joining me live in studio this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.